One of my favorite DJ. PMP thing nice tonight. Yeah, but there's a bottle. Yeah, but there's a bottle. The DJ, work with me, work with me. Yes, come tonight, DJ. Party leader, we are trying with the DJ. We want to bring him to conference. All right, we're going to the man. The leader of the People's National Party, from March.
Marching, the PNP is marching on to victory. One love, one love.
Okay, welcome. Happy Saturday.
All right.
Happy Friday. Happy Saturday. Welcome to those in television land. Welcome to those silent supporters. Thank you so much for tuning in. Again, guys, thank you so much for joining us on a Saturday. You know, the issue that we have yesterday, and thankfully it was after midnight that we got it rectified last night when my son came home and helped us out a bit. All right, so I am so happy that we were able to rectify it so that we can be here tonight. Thank you so much to everyone in the chat. I will greet you guys in a bit. So guys, remember, when you come in, thumbs up the live, share us out if you can. And if you're new to the channel, please show us some support by subscribing. And welcome to those over on Facebook. Happy Saturday to you. Thank you so much also for joining in. And to all our new subscribers, thank you, and welcome. And to those who have been supporting us from day one and join us along the journey as well, really appreciate each and every one. Okay, so before I get into it and hand over to Baron, I just want to encourage everyone, because you see what's happening, that election season is in the air already. So I'm encouraging everyone to go out there, register to vote. Because if you don't go out there and vote and make your voice heard in that manner, we're still going to continue with the nonsense that we have right now. And if you don't go and vote and then we continue in the mess, it doesn't make sense to complain, because then you will be contributing to the problem. So please go out there and register to vote. And on election day, make sure you go out there and make your choice and set us on the right path. Okay, so welcome to everyone in the chat again. Happy Saturday. Welcome to Truck Life. Thank you so much, Truck Life, for always being here. Says he's getting home from a busy day at work, and I'm here for good vibes and energy. All right. Thanks, Truck Life. Really appreciate that. Arthur, loud tonight, Mystic.
Yes, up and running.
And Tara, blessings to everyone. Says Tara, welcome, Tara. Thank you so much for joining. Arthur Phillips, Mystic, are you tuned?
I tell you,
Straight up, so loud and clear
loud and
tonight.
clear.
Truck Life blazing some fire. Arthur saying easy Marky G.
All right.
And DCA Smith, welcome, saying straight blessings to straight up. Thank you so much. Juba, welcome. Happy Saturday to you. Overton, son of a king, happy Sunday to you over there in the UK. Welcome, Overton. Thank you so much for joining in. And Blendan is saying thanks again, my brother. Welcome, happy Saturday. Okay, so without any further delay, I am going to hand over to Baron so he can lead the discussion. Again, my name is Anne-Marie, and Baron is going to be the speaker. So just going to hand over to.
All right. Thank you, wifey, for that brief presentation there. Yesterday, of course, we have some technical difficulties, and we're glad we get it sorted out because we have issues at hand to discuss as it relates to our political process. And as my wife is saying, I'm going to have some continuation there as it relates to appealing, particularly to the 63% of persons who did not participate in the 2020 general election. And I know the frustration as it relates to people who have, totally fed up of the process. And these persons, drew themselves from the process as a result of their belief that they are not getting the political representation that they ought to get. And, I want to say to particularly the 63% of those persons who did not vote. In the advent of social media that is changing the political landscape as it relates to checks, balance, transparency, and accountability. This time, we guarantee that it is going to be different. Now, I want people to understand this, that I am here, right, appealing to persons as it relates to good governance, appealing to persons as it relates to democratic socialism. And the reason for me to appealing in this way, and in this regard, for persons to understand, right, the objective of democratic socialism. What is democratic socialism? Democratic socialism that formulated by Michael Manley, right, decided that every single Jamaican need to be a stakeholder where the economy, right, benefits them and them, right, be a stakeholder in the economy. So we're talking about looking on the small men, right, and to see where small business persons like, the ordinary Jamaican, we can move them from a micro level to a macro level. And that is the fundamental difference from capitalism that take the view that the few at the top who rich, the wealth will trickle down, right? And so then we've seen that has not been working over the years. From 1962, from we gained independence, right? Capitalism, right, has not proven to be effective where the common persons benefit. And so tonight, I want to speak to the diaspora. I want to speak to the locals, speak to Jamaicans, right, everywhere. And so then I am saying that we need to understand that where we are going right now, as it relates to Mark Golden, who build a bridge in the continuation of democratic socialism. Simply means the principles that drive democratic socialism, the checks and balance and accountability. Now we have seen this government, this capitalist government, who is actually saying to all Jamaicans, that there is no need for checks and balance. I am not lying. We have seen where the government takes steps to muzzle the Integrity Commission. And so then the Integrity Commission, what Jamaicans need to understand, that the Integrity Commission serve as a checks and balance system to all government accountable for any misappropriation of taxpayers' money. Simple. And so then when you have a government muzzling the Integrity Commission, that the Integrity Commission cannot speak out on issues which affect the procurement rules and guidelines of contracts, then fundamentally, all of us can see that something is wrong. Now, let me say this. And one of the first topics that I'm going to discuss tonight is a very hot button issue as it relates to Jamaica and currently the United States, as it relates to that sort of diplomatic role that they're having. So I want to speak on it as it relates to how it put Jamaica, as we speak, as current, in a bad place. Now, as it relates to the foreign policy where the Jamaica Labour Party is concerned, obviously, they had handled the situation in a very incompetent way. And so then, what they need to understand, and let me warn the Jamaican government, and I'm going to tell the Jamaican government this. Jamaican government has to change their position, because we know the issue. And I'm going to play it before I discuss it, so that we can refresh the mind of people in terms of that. And there's a narrative out there that the reason why the United States is pushing this is the reason that they are using that as a pretext, right, to push back on China influence in the Caribbean and particularly in Jamaica. Jamaica, where China spend most money as it relates to loan. So we are going to go through that. But that is not the reason why United States is dealing with this particular issue. But before I go into that, I am going to just play it and let us all hear the role, and then I explain what is happening. Without any further ado, honey, can you play that clip to bring up our audience listener awareness up to par? Diplomatic.
Hold on, it's over on here. Diplomatic
Rule, yes.
Okay. Okay, guys.
Yes. So we're going to share the document with you guys and let you understand what is happening with this.
Welcome back to Primetime News.
And a special welcome once again to our viewers on onespotmedia.com.
Up first this evening, a diplomatic row has been simmering between Washington and Kingston over Jamaica's refusal to accredit the spouse of an American diplomat.
Now, the dispute is threatening to sour diplomatic relations between the traditional allies.
Milton Walker has more in this report.
Earlier this year, the United States government wrote to the Jamaican government seeking its approval for the married partner of a diplomat about to be posted to Jamaica and who is in a same-sex relationship to be given diplomatic immunity and all the privileges of a diplomat. It's believed the Jamaican government did not respond to the request in a timely manner. The US sent another diplomatic note demanding a response. The Jamaican government responded, rejecting the request. A senior government source told TVJ News, quote, that an approval of the request would mean Jamaica recognizing same-sex marriage, which is illegal in this country, end quote. Our sources tell us the US then responded, rejecting a request from the Holness administration to extend the stay of 3 Jamaican diplomats in our embassy and consulates in the United States. The US served notice that the trio must leave immediately after their 5-year diplomatic visa expires. This is in contrast to what now obtains, where extensions to diplomatic visas for Jamaican diplomats beyond the 5-year period would be routine. Among those affected are Jamaica's ambassador to the United States, Audrey Marks, and Consul General Oliver Mayer, based in Miami, who the Americans say must leave and return to Jamaica this year. It's not known what other diplomatic measures, if any, the US government might take against Jamaica in light of the government's refusal to grant immunity to the spouse of one of its diplomats. Milton Walker, TVJ News.
Okay, so take it. All right. So we are going to go into the intricacies of that sort of foreign policy that messed up by the Jamaica Labour Party. And I'm going to explain in clear detail. The narrative that is out there saying that the United States is pushing this issue as a result of a pretext, right? And the real reason why United States is doing this is to push back on China influence in the Caribbean and particularly Jamaica. Well, that is false. That is definitely false. What I'm going to teach people about, I'm going to teach people about the Magnitsky Act. The Magnitsky Act. Now, when you're taking a loan or grant or any donations from the United States of America, conditions will apply. The conditions that will apply definitely lined with the Magnitsky Act. And so foreign ministers, right, have to be aware that when you're dealing with the United States, the Magnitsky Act is going to automatically trigger. What is the Magnitsky Act? The Magnitsky Act speak about human rights issue. Human rights issue. Now, before I go into the Magnitsky Act, and I want to express this slowly for people to understand. The embassy, the United States Embassy, and the location that the embassy sits on, the property, is the property of the United States. So let me educate Jamaican about that. Although the embassy is in Jamaica, right, directly speaking, the property is United States property. Now, we all know that Jamaica has the Buggering law on their books as it relates to that. But when you look at it, right, that person as it relates to his sexual orientation, as it relates to the diplomats, right, they are in the confines of the embassy, which is American property. People, I want you to look on the mess up with the Jamaica Labour Party. The embassy, let me repeat that, is United States property. United States recognize that, of course, you have the Bulgarian laws on your books. So it's a criminal offense as it relates to a sexual conduct. So let us talk about sexual conduct and talk about a relationship. So there is not a sexual relationship on the book. What is on the book is Bulgarian sexual conduct. And so then, if that being done, then it's a criminal offense. So we look at that. And secondly, we look on to the fact that the diplomats are on the grounds of the embassy. That's where they are going to live. That's where they are going to work. And so the diplomat, significant other, to be elevated to the diplomatic immunity status, right? Now, if the Jamaica Labour Party, right, Minister of Foreign Affairs, Camilla Johnson, from the first request, and this is how Jamaica is in a bad position, the loans and the grants that you have taken from United States, the loans and the grants, people, I want you to listen to me. The loans and grants and all of those things that have been taken from the United States, there are conditions that apply. Conditions that apply as it relates to the Magnitsky Act. So what I am going to do, BCA, do we accommodate tourist couples of same-sex marriage? Well, I mean, the hotel open up and you have couples, right, with same-sex marriage, you understand, at the hotels. They do that, right? They accommodate them. But let me go into, so that we understand the intricacies of what happened and the bad position that Jamaica Labour Party find themselves in. Now, I am speaking this, and people are going to see. Jamaica Labour Party must and is going to change their position. Within the next week or two, because we have now seen United States decided that they are not going to extend, right, the visa of our ambassadors, right? We have seen clear signs that the United States start to take certain actions. So then when you look at this as it relates to the diplomacy, what we should have done is that, okay, all right, we understand as it relates to certain agreement that, you know, being made. So then, if the Jamaica Labour Party signed on the document in terms of accepting that, then no one would have heard about it. No one would have heard about it. That would be under, right, at that particular level. But to show you how impulsive Jamaica Labour Party is and want to, right, fit into a position of political mileage. Because, number one, when you think on the Rastafari community is going to reject it. The churches are going to reject it, right? And so then, to gain political mileage, Camilla Johnson had now put her foot into a hot mess where they are now going to be embarrassed because with the pressure of the United States, they are going to change their position. When I put in the thumbnail that, okay, are you going to lean to the side of the eagle? Or are you going to lead to the side of the dragon, which is China? To say that, okay, all right, we don't need the United States, so we are not going to change. Let me ask Andrew Holness this. I am going to ask Andrew Holness this. In terms of trade, right? How many trading that we have done with the United States in comparison to China? United States is our biggest trading partners. Not only that, we have the largest diaspora in the United States. How many Jamaicans are in China benefiting? They are the majority of our diaspora in the United States. And so then, do you want to lean with the dragon, China, or you want to lean with United States, the eagle? Now, what are the things that we trade with China? We might trade few vehicles and, of course, our bauxite ore, where we are not making any money from our bauxite, which we are going to touch later. However, let me hear us straight up. Seems as if the American government is changing the Jamaican-born ambassador after only 1 year. Seems as if they want to send someone now to start pressuring these kleptocrats. So then, when you look, right, as it relates to our country moving forward, we are going to make Jamaicans suffer at the peril of that stupid decision as it relates to Camilla Johnson, gross error as it relates to foreign policy, because she messed this up, right? Messed this up totally. The level of incompetence as it relates to the Jamaica Labour Party. And we are going to see the Jamaica Labour Party in front of the eyes of Jamaican, locally and in the diaspora, that the Jamaican Labour Party is going to shift their position. We have taken $30 billion, right? Grants from the United States and several other benefits that we have taken from the United States. So what is going to happen? And so then, in terms of my calculation, right? Andrew Holness, Camilla Johnson has to and must change their position. Are we going to make this situation get worse, go beyond visa issues? The United States, as it relates to the Magnitsky Act, explain it all, and without any further ado, I am going to put up the Magnitsky Act to show you that the United States, this has nothing to do with the United States using this as a pretext against China to push back on China's influence. That is a different situation. That is a different situation. So this is what we are talking about. I am going to put up the Magnitsky Act that the United States passed this law as it relates to corrupted government officials that act in a gross conduct, right? As it relates to human rights, that they will do the necessary impeachment. So without any further ado, we are going to go through the Magnitsky Act and show you, and this is a warning to the Jamaica Labour Party. So let me bring up this research for you, that what you are playing with, what you are messing around with, Andrew, Camilla Johnson, what you are messing around with, you are messing around with the Magnitsky Act. So let me put up the Magnitsky Act that if you, Camilla Johnson, did not aware of it, or if you, Andrew Holness, who is taking United States grants, loans, and this, some time ago I talk about Andrew Holness being a political canartist. And this proved my point once again. And people will say, you know, Mystic Sensation, you're a bit harsh. But this goes to show you, as it relates to the political connery of Andrew Holness, now putting our people, right, in a position that further sanctions can come of this. So let us go through the Magnitsky Act and we all read it. So put it up on it.
Okay, welcome everyone. Again, happy Saturday. Let me just share this document. Okay. So what does the Global Magnitsky Act do? The Global Magnitsky Human Rights Accountability Act authorizes the president to block or revoke the visas of certain foreign nationals, both individuals and entities, or to impose property sanction on them. People can be sanctioned if they're responsible for or acted as an agent for someone responsible for, well, extrajudiciary killings, you're just breaking it down, torture or other gross violations of internationally recognized human rights. If they're government official or senior associates of government officials complicit in acts of significant corruption. What is the Global Magnitsky Act as a useful tool? The Act promotes respect for human rights at all levels of government by enabling the U.S. executive branch to apply targeted sanctions on any individual involved in a human rights violation, from senior officials to low-level officers and even non-government associates. These sanctions can take the form of asset freezing for funds held in U.S. banks and bans on visas for coming to the U.S. The Global Magnitsky Act functions as a deterrent, forcing foreign officials at all levels who would use lawful violence or corruption to consider repercussions from the U.S. government. The Act also provides incentives to foreign governments to improve their own accountability mechanism. By cooperating with the U.S. on global Magnitsky investigation, foreign leaders can show that they will not tolerate human rights abusers in their own countries. How effective are sanctions from the Global Magnitsky Act? Sanctions deny individuals entry into the U.S., allow the seizure of any of their property held in the country, and effectively prevent them from entering into transactions with large numbers of banks and companies. Both American firms and international firms with American subsidiaries run the risk of violating U.S. sanctions if they do business with sanctioned people. The law's impact is exemplified by the Russian officials sanctioned by the Magnitsky Act, who hired a Russian lawyer, Natalia Velenitskaya, to advocate against the act of the U.S. Congress and help establish a nonprofit organization opposing the act.
Okay, take with that on here. Okay. So we all read that. And so then the Jamaica position is one classified as being discriminating against the United States ambassador by not allowing him, as it relates to the diplomatic immunity status that his significant other wanted him to have. And so that this is a diplomatic role between the United States and Jamaica that is going sour. And let me say this, right, that we are going to witness, and remember, you hear it on the Mystic Sensation here, that within the next 2 weeks, that Andrew Holness has to shift his position on that. So we clarified that to say this has nothing to do with the United States, right, using this as a pretext to push back China as it relates to the backside, you understand, and the red mud and so forth. remember, bauxite mining has been taking place in Jamaica from as way as 1950. So why not? United States is going to be pushing back on China influence and red mud and this and that and all of that. You understand? It makes no sense. So since I clarified that, we are going to move on. And before I move on to the next topic, because tonight, we want to take it easy and we want to educate our people. We are going to talk about, since we finished the Magnitsky Act, we are going to speak in relation to the bauxite. Because what is happening with our bauxite need to be exposed. So I am going to give you a background as it relates to what is happening. Now, Michael Manley, because the way how we make money from our bauxite, right? We have the companies and we charge a levy. So we make money from the taxes, the levy that we apply to the individual company. And Michael Manley had increased that levy so that more Jamaicans can be benefited from the bauxite mining. But what we have seen that since Andrew Holness's government take over the realms of power, we've seen Nigel Clark, right, with his usual lying lips and try to justify his evil, had now reduced the bauxite levy. So then, for all the bauxite mining that is happening, for all the fish killing that is happening in the Royal Cobra, and for all the exposure of our people, Jamaican people, right? And the potential danger of affecting our water basin. Because remember, the Cockpit Mountain carry roughly about 60% of our water basin. And so then that is very, very important. And so then now we have bauxite mining going on. We are not making any money because the Jamaica Labour Party reduced the levy. And what is happening now, let me talk about people because we hear about some green trucks. And the green trucks that we have heard about, this is what we are now seeing happening. That guess what? We have heard allegation that majority of these green trucks owned by, let me just use a general term, politicians. I am not going to point out any individual person, because what seems to be happening now, because the politicians are making money from haulage. So these trucks who belongs to the politician, the large majority of Jamaican people are not making any form of benefit from the bauxite, none. And the last damage that Nigel Clark had done, Nigel Clark had reduced $10 million worth of levy. $10 million from Mindalco. I'm going to show you the evidence in the name of what he called so-called saving employment to the Jamaican people. And so then what he had done is now reduce those levies. So we are losing our bauxite free from once our bauxite collected here from Jamaica. And it reached out of the shores of Jamaica. Our bauxite worth millions of dollars, and Jamaicans are not benefiting. This is the cruelty and the corruption of the Jamaica Labour party. The political kickbacks and the PSOJ know about this. They're fully aware, but yet they have kept silence as a result of the political kickback. But tonight, we are going to expose them. So let me show you. And when I said to people, speaking to now the 63% of people who did not participate, I am asking you, I am pleading to you to recognize this government for who they are, the monster, the evil, the lack of care towards Jamaican people, and lining their pockets as what they're doing with our backside and damaging our people's health. We have seen so much fish killed from chemical waste, damaging the lifestyle of our people, the livelihood of our people. And so then we have seen where Andrew Holness made promise in Parliament that he's going to protect the Cockpit Mountain, and then turn his eyes away while miners protruding towards Cockpit Mountain. He don't care. He don't care one. Let me just hold back. Whatever happening, they are making their money from haulage. And so then the Jamaican people, the masses of Jamaican can be suffer, exposed to all sorts of health risk, exposed to deadly red dust. But then when we talk about democratic socialism, and we talk about the principle as it relates to where the economy can benefit every single person, and where we can identify our Jamaican doing small business. When you see what going on in St. Thomas, I'm going to touch that, When you see what going on in St. Thomas, where the government has an opportunity to where those persons in St. Thomas doing eco-tourism, and the government now should win that opportunity in going there to help them becomes taking them from micro to macro, help promote their king. You see what the vampire Colonel Charles did to the people, and which even as we speak cannot prove to say who he purchased the land from. This is the cruelty. But let me tell you something. This is one of the reasons why, St. Thomas people, if you are listening to me, let me say this. Two things that you need to hold this government for. The 15,000 acre that Colonel Charles had taken away, and the Bob Marley Beach that they are kicking off black people off the land. Right? And only where the court now, that's why you find it, Andrew, let's put up the judge. Put up the judge them now. So now the court now rule, but we are going to touch that later. I don't want to preempt anything. I started a rush, but I don't want to rush. I'm going to take, my time and educate my people here. I'm going to preach the gospel tonight. So then when we look at those viciousness, let us get back to the backside. But I am going to show you, when we talk about democratic socialism, and Michael Manley look and realize that we're hardly making anything from our backside, And so then what we are going to do, we're going to increase the levy. Because they need to pay more. They need to pay more. Michael Manley, and let me tell you something, if you go in the history of our politics, sorry to say, I am not, look here, and it is just the truth. If you go into the entire history of our politics from 1962 until now, every time People's National Party making progress in terms of the economy, Jamaica Labour Party, as they go in, they tear it down. They tear it down. It's like making one step forward when GLP going in, 2 steps backward. 10 steps backward. And we have been seeing the pattern. I have the evidence to prove. We have seen the pattern of Jamaica Labour Party tearing down the progress. And that is one of the reasons why I don't like capitalism. Because what capitalism means, right? The private sector and capitalism, they are the one. And let me remind people, I'm not losing my tangent here, right? When we were practicing, as it relates to democratic socialism, what sort of economic model we were doing? So all the economists out there who can help, we were doing mixed economy, democratic socialism. What does that mean? Private sectors and governments sit at the table to make decisions. And the decisions benefit the people. But capitalism, what does that do? Capitalism change all of that and push free market economy. Well, the hypocrisy of that with free market economy, right? Where they should invite competition in the market, right? And then, of course, the market will work out for itself as it relates to the competition that driving the market. But if that is so, doesn't it seem like National Water Commission is a monopoly? Doesn't it? It seems like JPS is a monopoly. So ironic. And then we see where free market economy is not good for Jamaica. We have seen where the Singapore Prime Minister visited Jamaica and take mixed economic model, utilizing it in Singapore. So let me ask the people, can you compare Singapore with us today? A model that was copied by Singapore Prime Minister who visited us. Using that model in Singapore, Singapore is now a first world country. What Jamaica is? A third world country shifting to capitalism. So people need to understand, when I am here speaking about democratic socialism, Michael Brown said the Jamaican government is not intelligent. They cannot see beyond their nose bridges. I endorse that. And so then when we are talking now, we are bringing these points ahead. Let us go back now to the backside, right? Because these situations as several arrows, you know. So meanwhile, I'm discussing backside other things coming up, and I have to speak about them. You understand? They have, you know, lot of sprongs, so to speak. So when you look at, right, what Michael Manley had done, right, through democratic socialism, right, through democratic socialism, working for the people, right? Michael Manley increased the levy. So let me show you the proof that when people hear Mystic Sensation is talking, he's just talking. Let me show you the proof as it relates to mainstream media. I said everything that I'm speaking, I don't hide my source and act as if, okay, I come up with the idea and I am so brilliant to have all the ideas. No. My source came from mainstream media. So without any hesitation, YP, show them what Michael Manley did.
Okay, welcome everyone. Those who are just joining, welcome. Happy Saturday. Let me just find. One second, guys. It's quite a bit to go through.
Is it? This is it?
Yeah.
Okay. Sure.
Yeah.
We faced in 1973 a situation we had not been used to. Oil prices were quadrupled. when OPEC decided to increase the price in the late 1973. And as you know, Jamaica has been a heavy dependent on imported oil for just about everything. And it hit us very hard. So that was one factor that influenced the government of Michael Manley when he came into office in 1972. So he set up a National Bauxite Commission, chaired by Pat Russo, a corporate lawyer, and including people like the late Maya Matulan, businessman, and a couple of public servants. Myself and a few others were drawn in to give technical support to the negotiating team. The pressure was on. Michael Manley had certain ideas anyway, education, having enough foreign exchange to pay our bill. So from a revenue, foreign exchange, and from a point of view that we didn't feel we were getting a fair share. That was a fundamental basis. So we decided to enter into negotiations with the companies. Now, this was quite an order because you were dealing with four of the world's biggest aluminum companies: Alcoa, Alcan, Kaiser, Reynolds. There were two others, but these were the powerful guys with the resources at their disposal. Our grounds were one, we didn't think we were getting enough return. And what is important about bauxite is that it is a non-renewable asset. Once it goes, it's gone. And we felt we needed to get a value before it's too late. Two, just the urgent need for budgetary purposes and to enable the government to carry out a number of social and economic programs. Three, to have enough foreign exchange that you could pay for the oil and deal with these important things. So the first year alone, we increased the revenues that we were getting from 25 million US to about 180 million US, sevenfold increase. And it allowed the government to do a number of things, including what Manley announced later as the free education was really free tuition for all students, tertiary institutions. It goes without saying that if you're going to have a society that achieves social and economic objectives, you have to have an educated society. And a lot of people would stop at the primary stage. Later on, we made some improvements where a lot more got into the secondary stages, but the tertiary stage was still out of their reach. And I think it lifted the number of people who receive tertiary education, and that to me was a value to the society.
Okay. And so then let again me appeal to the 63% of people who did not vote. I'm appealing for persons who have not registered to see that we are going back in history and show you a reflection from history by saying to you, Mark Golden stand for these principles. And so then when Mystic Sensation align himself with Mark Golden, because you know why? I have investigated everything and realized that Mark Golden, honesty and integrity matters, and the principal alignment of democratic socialism. And so then this is the reason why I am appealing that the continuation that Mark Golden is striding on, is pursuing, we need to help him to achieve that. So for persons who underline, I am showing you the difference and the message of democratic socialism what democratic socialism had done in Jamaica. Michael Manley and the democratic socialism had fought for you. Equal pay for women. Democratic socialism had done that. Jamaica Labour Party has never looked to have done that.
Champion no cause.
Michael Manley, democratic socialism, championed those cause. So when we see some deflection as it relates to current cross, and we see three blind mice, even them talking about democratic socialism, but yet they want to indulge in the sort of corrupted politics. So when you see I'm coming here, we know that, of course, we have some corruptors amongst us. But in due time, Mark Gold, right, we will deal with them. And I'm telling you that social media is shifting the political landscape. Social media is creating the paradigm shift. And so then, people, I am telling you to confident, because we all Jamaica Labour Party to the platter. We are also going to all People's National Party to the platter. And don't think that we are here pointing out Jamaica Labour Party evil. We are also going to point out People's National Party evil, because we are Jamaican and we are saying Jamaica first. And so then when we say Mark Golden, we are putting our shoulder to the wheel in saying, let us follow Mark Golden. In terms of what Mark Golden doing, aligning himself with democratic socialism, and the importance of what Mark Golden is now doing as it relates to, he had already drafted a bill as it relates to impeachment clause for a politician to be impeached. That is a big start. Straight up, Mark Golden's actions in Parliament has shown his deep thinking about protecting the rights of the ordinary citizen, something for which the bought out the media gives him no credit. And this is what, when you hear people straight up saying that Mark Golden, and they are not hearing from Mark Golden, the censorship, right? The discreet censorship by Jamaica Labour Party, that what Mark Golden is doing is not being highlighted. It's not being highlighting most of it. But I'm here, you understand, to definitely project these lessons. So let us go back in terms of what Michael Manley did as it relates to the amount of increase when Michael Manley imposed more penalty on the levy, to increase the levy, and the success that we had achieved out of it, right? So that in those days, right, people, right, have those allowances. You understand? I remember, because I had experienced it. I used to go to school. We get uniforms free. We get cornmeal. We get flour free. We get burger free under the increase of the levy. Michael Manley, democratic socialism, take care of us. And we want to see democratic socialism leading the way 2024 or 2025, depending on when the evil decided to call the general election. So Michael Manley did all of that. Let me show you now what Jamaica Labour Party had done. And now those wealthy companies taking away our backside, our aluminum, free of cost, to allow them to be benefited as a result of haulage, where the members of parliament own these trucks and getting these benefits, and take away the benefits of our Jamaican people. People, please play the next clip. We are getting there. We are driving the point. We are drilling it down.
Good evening and welcome to the Business Day. I'm Javon Keys. Now, I mentioned the gas prices at the start of the bulletin, and here's a hint, they're all red arrows. But before we get to that, let's head to some news in the mining and quarrying industry. The government is to give up some $10 million in bauxite levy payments from Windalco over the next 2 years. Finance Minister Dr. Nigel Clark told Parliament this afternoon that the company approached the government stating that it was on the brink of closure and in need of assistance.
Payroll for Windalco on an annual basis is $24 million. $24 million on an annual basis. That goes to 600 Jamaicans. And that is what is at risk. If the plant closes, that $24 million that comes in every year to pay Jamaicans would go to zero. And what we are giving up in order to ensure that those jobs are saved is an amount of $5 million approximately. So it's $5 million that you give up, but we keep $24 million per year of jobs in Jamaica.
Jamaica earns roughly $150 million in foreign exchange through alumina exports from Windalco. In the meantime, opposition spokesman on mining, Philip Paulwell, is encouraging the government to ensure bauxite and alumina companies are contributing to the bauxite levy.
I think a strategy has to be devised where we put all the players back into that regime. It was a very good concept and system that was put in place. Jamaica realized a lot of revenues that went back into the communities. And until we get back to that stage where we can generate a tremendously more, far more amount to the bauxite levy, we are going to see the increase in pressure and tension between the community and the companies. I do acknowledge that the jobs are relatively high paying, in fact, higher paying than some of the other industries that we support. So I acknowledge that.
Okay, all right, let us take...
So what the news now, more businesses were on.
Okay. So my Jamaican people, right? This is what we are talking about. Nigel Clark, right, are taking away those revenues that could benefit our Jamaican people under Jamaica Labour Party policies, right? You hear Minister Paul, thank you for reminding me the name. Here, Minister Paul is saying that we need to get back as it relates to what Michael Manley did. Get back there, right? But Nigel Clark, who we know is a vicious liar. Nigel Clark, who told us that the FBI is here investigating SSL. So should we believe what Nigel Clark as it relates to removing the bauxite levy to save jobs? That man is a liar. That man is a vicious. But he's removing the bauxite levy so that the political kickback can spin in their favor for those who own the trucks. For those who own the trucks. And so the spin-off deal work in the benefit of them. They are liars, vampires on the Jamaican people, pressuring the Jamaican people, taking away the Jamaican people land. These are the viciousness that I am showing you what the Jamaican Labour Party has been doing. And so then, as Philip Powell is saying, they need to get back to the stage where Michael Manley had proposed, right? straight up said the dictators of Mark, no, the detractors, sorry, the detractors of Mark within the PNP know that because of his integrity, they won't get to scrape if he wins. Therefore, they are pushing leaders who are no different from ONS. I endorse that 110% straight up. Bless up yourself, Marine. We see, you know, we know that you're a soldier on the battlefield. We recognize that. Freedom. Clark is a big puppet. In worse than puppet. Now, and we see these viciousness. We see this evil continue. Well, you know, we should have burned them from last night. You know, I never get to burn them from last night. I'll go on my bed and dream. I'm vexed because I don't get to burn them from last night. But nothing. I'm going to burn them tonight. Right? I'm going to burn them tonight. No, so when we look at that, we see the evil rolling out in terms of capitalism, pulling away everything from the poor to the rich. So the rich will get richer and the poor will get poorer. And by so doing, the middle class of our society fades away. And so then when the middle class reduced to the poor class reduced beyond the poverty line. And so you see, this is the type of situation that we are facing, right? And the inflation rising high. And then they are telling us to band our belts, tighten the belt, tighter, pay those taxes to reduce the debt per GDP ratio while we are not producing as much. And so then, if we are importing more than all we are exporting, how can we progress? So the issue is production, that we need to produce more. So then when we look at Nigel Clark and the lie, the deceit, the corruption, let me ask Nigel Clark something. What happened to Crawl? When you realize that the FBI, that we recognize that what you have said is lie, you switch to Crawl to extend your evil and double down on your wickedness. But let me ask you, where is Crawl? My wife said to tell you that Crawl is still crawling. What happened to Crawl? What happened to Crawl report? You said that Crawl is investigating to show you the viciousness and the lie. But let me play another clip as it relates to one of our legal scientists who can tell you about the corruption of the backside. Dr. John Lennon had come on and Wayne Lonesome program, right? Wayne Reason with Rattigan. And people, let me say, as it relates to Reason with Rattigan. Reason with Rattigan is doing a lot of work. And Rattigan is putting his shoulder to the wheel as it relates to defending his people, right? Doing what needs to be done as it relates to having them accountable. So people need to, visit, of course, Rattigan, right? Hear what the man have to say, right? For me, I like when my subscribers visit other platform, right? And widen your horizon, right? Because I cannot give you everything. One platform cannot give you everything. We work together, right, to disseminate information. Visit Jamaica Carlos, right? Visit Wayne Lonesome. These are channels that, projecting, pushing, you understand, and pushing back against a corrupted government. We talk about Jeffrey Tavares, right? These are channels that are powerful, right? Disseminating information. Go visit them, broaden your horizon, right? And we're still happy for you coming across to Mystic Sensation. We are sharing information. There's no one platform who can do it all. We all give our listeners bits and pieces, and we all, as it relates to this platform, will encourage my subscribers to go, right? Listen to the platform, right? Broaden your horizon. What you hear from me, right? You will hear something else from other stations and get yourself better awareness, right? And more rounded. That is why we are here, to give you the information, you understand, and set your awareness. That means your vote. And as I said last week, that when you're voting, your vote should not be a selfish one. Your vote should be vote for generation up to generation that benefits the generation to come. And so then when you're voting, it must make sense. Your voting must make sense. So without any further ado, we're not going over tonight, you know, we take time and put in the information that necessary to bring our people forward. We can't tolerate a government to mash down our education system. We can't tolerate Maureen Vassell. Put up more. Sorry. Don't put up Maureen and just take her down like that. Maureen Vassell, where is Uti and money? I guess it gone with the wind. No, Maureen, I don't think so. Might be somebody to use for the campaign. Now, let me say this. We are now going to just give you a video of Dr. John Lennon speaking the truth about the backside. And that's why we are warning Andrew Wilson. We are warning Andrew Wilson and this government to take him higher for the cockpit mountain. To take him high for the cockpit mountain. Because the day you touch the cockpit mountain, Jamaica need to rise. We are not going to allow you to kill our people as it relates to your greed. When you see the ship, when I put him in, the old ship, the abyss, you see all of them on the old ship on the thumbnail, at the abyss of hell, me they send them. Okay. So without any further ado, Marva dies. Jamaicans are suffering, but they fail to accept that we are suffering. Marva, 110%. But we are here to take time giving them the information and straighten them. So let us go straight up. Nigel Clark has been a friend and associate of owners from the days of Westcon, which Integrity Commission gave an adverse report on recently. Show me your company and tell you who you are. Big endorsement for that straight up. So without any further ado, let me show you what John Lennon is saying. The person who have that level of awareness, right? The person who have the competence, right, to tell us what is happening with the backside. Without any further ado, wifey, please play John Lennon to share that information.
Okay, welcome to everyone who's recently joining. Happy Friday. Thank you so much for joining in. Let me just share the screen here.
Now, I'm not anti-mining at all. I'm not anti-mining. All the devices that we use today requires all these minerals, elements for them to function. So we need mining. So I'm not anti-mining. What I am is anti-exploitation. And in Jamaica, we don't get any money for our bauxite. Now, people might think I'm exaggerating, but we get $0 for our bauxite. And you can find this proof by looking on the Ministry of Finance website, and you look under the fiscal policy papers. In there, you will find all the information about bauxite, the bauxite levy. Now, the bauxite levy is what the companies pay to the Treasury for our bauxite. So we'd expect that we make billions of US, because if anybody recalls, in 2017, the Prime Minister announced that we're not going to mine in the cockpit country. And he wrote in a tweet, and the word he used was forgo. He said Jamaica will forgo losing billions of US dollars, if we do not mine in the cockpit country. Now, that is just a plain lie. When you look in the fiscal policy papers, I looked in it for the, this current year, the 23-24 fiscal year, you will find that there are tables in there showing how much bauxite, the history of how much we've been paid, and also the projections. So there, you'll see in that paper that in 2019, that the Treasury received $0. $0 we received for bauxite. Then they go through to the projections and go through to 2027, and that year as well, in 2027, they're going to receive $0. So we've got an 8-year period here where we're not going to get any bauxite earnings. Now, when you look at the figures, you'll see that there's 35 million US is going to be paid. That 35 million is coming from one company, and that is Windalco. And Windalco is not actually paying for the bauxite it's mining now. This is 35 million that is paying for bauxite in the past from before 2017. So we can categorically say that from between 2019 to 2027, in this 8-year period, the bauxite that's being mined, the millions and millions of tons of bauxite being mined, we are going to get £0, 0 yen, $0 for it. We're not going to get anything for it. Nothing. And you can see the amount of destruction the bauxite causes, the sufferation, the health problems, multitudes of problems. And we know that adds up to hundreds of millions of dollars every year. Now, bauxite does make money. It does make money because in 2019, on the Ministry of Mining website, they reproduced an article from Bloomberg, the financial paper, and the headline read something like, "Private investors are turning Jamaican dirt into gold." So private investors are making money. So in the 2019, that year when we got $0, private investors were turning our bauxite into gold. The Daily Gleaner, which is our local rag, it supports mining. And a few months ago, they produced a piece. And in this piece, it had that the bauxite earned over 3.2 billion US dollars. That's what I said, over 3.2 billion. But what the Gleaner didn't report was how much of that money did we get in a levy, the tax, how much did they pay? Unbelievably, we received $2 million, 2 million US. So bauxite earned over 3.2 billion, and from that, we got $2 million. Now,
Madness.
$2 million. In today's money, in Jamaican money, what's that? 300 million Jamaican dollars. We have about 3 million people living in Jamaica, which means that each one of us got $100 each for 4 years of bauxite. That's $25 each we got per annum for the bauxite, 25 Jamaican dollars per annum. If I take back a bottle of Red Stripe to the shop, I get $30 for it. So that's it, $25, and then I can get $30 from a bottle of beer. Yeah, that puts into perspective how we've been exploited. And this is exploitation. Wherever black people are, there's exploitation. You go into Africa, what do we see there? The richest continent by far, gold, diamonds, bauxite, oil, platinum, uranium, cobalt, copper, zinc, you name it, it is there. But what's happening there? Go to Nigeria, poverty. Ghana, poverty.
Okay, so we can
the Congo, poverty. Senegal, wherever you go, it's exploitation, where you have the colonists turned up from years ago. They make all the money, and we don't get anything. And this is just...
Okay. So there it is as it relates to the scientists, right, who have a better understanding than us. It's not my field of expertise. So John Lennon, it's John Lennon's field of expertise as he line out the intricacies to us all there. That the bottom line, we are not getting nothing from our bauxite. And we know who is getting the money. And so the trick here is that they reduce the levy, making these companies more rich as a result of them control haulage, where we have been told, as it is rumored, members of parliament owning several green trucks, and so then to line their pockets, the rest of Jamaica can suffer. Who cares? Who cares about Jamaica? They don't care. And so then the money that we should get as it relates to levy, right, gone into political kickbacks through their green trucks, scraping that money as a result of haulage, and they have green trucks there, here, and all over the bauxite mine. The corrupted government, and they have the audacity after doing all of that evil and wickedness to the people, campaigning for us to give them another chance. To do what? Another chance to do what? Another chance to put our people who are selling downtown in sewage water. We soon get to there. I soon get to there. I am going to drive the nail home. So, okay, all right. We're moving on, and let us put back some energy in the place, man. So we are going to visit back St. Thomas and see how PNP are turning up the thing in St. Thomas now. But let me say something to Jamaica Labour Party. Nobody think about St. Thomas. Nobody think about St. Thomas. Right? Because we are not able to stop Colonel Charles from thieving the people them land. And the judge already ruled as it relates to taking away Bob Marley Beach. So nobody look at St. Thomas. Nobody thinks it. Go campaign at St. Thomas. So let me show you the general who they deal with St. Thomas and who St. Thomas is going to. St. Thomas, the entire St. Thomas is going to be arranged. So let me show you who is turning up. Turn it up. So turn it up on them, honey.
Okay, all right, let me just share again. Welcome, welcome. I'll go back to the comments in a bit. Okay, so again, welcome, happy Saturday. Thank you so much, guys, for being here. Okay, I know where I need to go. This one? Yeah. Okay.
Comrade Powell, chairman for the evening proceeding. They're doing a great job out of St. Thomas. You don't believe in a Zoom meeting, you know. So you drive out here at least 2 times per month, and the bad word, big up Comrade Powell, real St. Thomas General. Comrade Tony Hilton. Remember, are you last rule west of the PNP, you know? Time come. Me next. Sunset. Wallace. Come read Dennis Daily. Remember, you said the training up. We know it gone. We have a big up farmer chairman. Lot of respect. Comrade Deputy Mayor, my right hand. Big up yourself. Comrade Mayor Scott, chairman for the Council Caucus. Vice President of the People National Party. I don't want to fuck nobody, you know. But the lady of the moment who want to make some nice here. Big up Comrade Rosemary Shaw. The thing now is normal, you know. Because we don't sign a memorandum of understanding. That is one St. Thomas, you know. And we are going to deliver St. Thomas, you know. Real progress. Remember the performance boss, you know. The thing is normal. So Comrade John, big up on yourself. On the day, ready for bust the place? Are you ready? If you're ready, say you're ready. Selector, look for dance first, man. And we have to wave like the old time. You don't know what that is. Wallet. Want to see how I'm dressed tonight? I'm a friend than your soul, no explosion, and we make it commotion. Every dance for the much we have emotion, keep on slow down. What?
Yeah. I don't know what's a Western Center must not go normal next week. But let me say something at the top. A wave, I create the wave like the ocean. When me just turn me up, Mr. St. Thomas people I feel left that Kingston, go watch fireworks. Hold on. And to me a boy I grew up in the 80s. The 80s is the wicked enough. Nobody see have a time enough. So the 80s is the wicked enough. So we used to have to go over with neighbor country and go watch with neighbor TV. And sometimes they close the door power. Do it. So to me don't want nobody close the door for St. Thomas people. Me ensure that me give St. Thomas people their own TV. So I introduce fireworks to the people of St. Thomas so that we can see how we are and watch we want TV.
You know, sister, we are create feelings like the ocean, yeah. When you're there, better you so know the explosion and we make it commotion. Every dance for the much we have emotion, keep on slow down. We do it first, got them soft like ocean and waves like the ocean.
What? But just speak up, I'm trying to find Dubai, call me now. Extermination, alright. Games not get to this time. Money enough. Come talk about.
So, my ardent listeners, we love the energy coming out of St. Thomas. St. Thomas gone? St. Thomas gone because we're tired of the green people then. So St. Thomas gone. We're tired of the green people then. So my ardent listeners, okay, Marva dies. My understanding between democratic socialism and capitalism is that Andrew and his cronies will be richer. And indeed, we are idiots. Okay, well, all right. I like how she sum up that because definitely they are creeping what they need to creep up. Straight up, Mystic, that woman in St. Elizabeth should let them use a donkey to draw a backside on one of the green trucks for a farm. What you mean? So, where we are going next, right? We are going to go in some reflections of the Integrity Commission. And of course, we know the reasons why some of the members of parliament, as it relates to GLP members of parliament, wanted to get rid of the Integrity Commission. But tonight, a particular person, a particular MP, I am going to expose him. I am going to expose him because this MP, whenever he has been calling out as it relates to wrongdoing and evil and corruption, he's using the same tactics to say, right, they want to politically malign them. And because they know that election is coming, right, they want to have a political advantage. And he always do that when he has some serious wrongdoing. I am going to establish or show, right, his behavior and the pattern of his behavior. I am going to put Robert Montague in the spotlight. And I am going to reference the sources of information. Right? And so then what Robert Montague is trying to say about the Integrity Commission and try to discredit the Integrity Commission, right? It is just a lie from the pit of it. And so then, from out of the politics to the social life as it relates to Robert Montague. Let us show you. I am going to show the local and the diaspora as it relates to one of the allegations, a very serious allegation against Robert Montague. And this man is a member of parliament representing us. This man is representing us. And so then you're going to see a pattern as it relates to his reason giving to say this is the reason why people accusing him because to gain political mileage, even when it is not have anything to do with politics. He is still saying that. And so then when he was accused as it relates to the first allegation, he said it is to gain political mileage. When that has nothing to do with politics. So people, I want you to understand, it has nothing to do with politics. And so now when the Integrity Commission have him under the scope and have him under the spotlight for clear corruption, he's saying that it is for gain political mileage. Don't you see that is a pattern that is sickening? Right? So without any further ado, we are going to put up the information and we're all going to see it. Arthur Phillips and the Deputy Speaker of the House allow him to make that statement and not withdraw it. Very shameful and dangerous statement, I am telling you. But tonight, we are going to show, we are going to take it out of the politics, and show you an accusation which is extremely criminal. And his defense was that people try to gain political mileage. Can you imagine? So let us play that clip on it. No.
This one.
Yeah.
Newspaper article.
Yes, you're gonna have to read it.
Okay, so it's a newspaper article from the Gleaner. Okay, so the caption is: the Jamaica Labour Party's Shadow Minister on Mining and Energy, Senator Robert Montague, has released a statement denying rape allegations against him. The former government minister is claiming that the allegation have formed the basis of an attempt to extort him. According to Montague, the matter has been reported to the police. Montague said the matter has been used for political advantage as a general election nears. The rape allegation is contained in what is regarded as a sworn affidavit over the signature of an alleged complainant living in Stratford, London, and witnessed by a justice of the peace. The authentication of the document was not independently verified. Apparently on August 28, 2015, I received a private communication on my Facebook account. So it's giving account of what happened. You want to go through that?
Yeah.
Okay. My Facebook account that contains certain allegations, threats, and an attempt to extort money from me. The police was contacted and advised that no reply was to be given. August 31st, I met with the police and formally reported the matter. Shortly thereafter, another private message was received stating that the allegations have been passed to the media, but no name has yet been called. September 1st, a blog with some of the said allegation and further innuendos was published and brought to the attention of the police. Contact the legitimate owner of the account from where the messages were supposedly being sent was made. The legitimate owner denied sending the messages. Montague said, based on the advice of the police, he remained silent so that they could advance their work, but he is now compelled to make this matter public. Although much progress is being made with the investigation, it is not yet over, Montague said. Noting that the matter was now being politicized for election purposes, Montague appealed for the police to be given space to do their jobs without the political overtones. So the cleaner made several unsuccessful attempts to contact the Center of Investigations of Sexual Offenses and Child Abuse.
Okay, take away that. So let me talk to the people. Okay, for certain security reasons, I am not going to speak of the young lady name, but the young lady has left the shores of Jamaica. That young lady, right? At the time of the incident, the age of that young lady, she was 13 years of age. So I want people to consider that. 13 years of age. Now that young lady, to show you how serious the matter as it relates to what she felt in terms of her experience, she went out of the shores of Jamaica into England, and where she had taken out an affidavit, and where a justice of the peace signed off on that affidavit. Right? They had made several contacts, right, to authorities in Jamaica, and they refused to respond. So this is what, as it relates to me, showing that, to show you the pattern of his defense, talking about, you understand, election is near and this and that and that. The young lady left the shores of Jamaica and take out an affidavit signed by a justice of peace in England. So for now, we are going to leave that right there. And now we are going to step now as it relates to what the Integrity Commission is saying now about Montague. And here is response in similar tone as the first response that he had responded. So without any further ado, let us play that clip and show the people. We are showing the pattern and the behavior of Robert Montague. Okay, Charmian, put it back. Charmian, it burned me out, them wrong and want to be strong. I'm tired of them. Shameless. Exactly, Charmian. Exactly. Right? So we are not going anywhere tonight, we are taking our time to drive home these points, right? And we are appealing to the 63% of persons who have not voted to look on these situations that I'm talking about. Straight up, the young lady accused him in an affidavit. The DPP refused to go to England for the investigation, but wanted the girl to come back to make the complaint, to put her in danger. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they wanted to do. And you are going to tell me that the young lady is lying, right? To show you that the young lady has been living with that tragedy, that when she left the shores of Jamaica, right, she was still burning in her heart to get justice. That she's now involving, right, as it relates to taking out that affidavit. But let me say this. My grandmother always say, one day the bucket will go well. One of these days, the bottom will drop out. So let us play now what the Integrity Commission now is doing and is interest, right, to destroy the Integrity Commission as it relates to the Integrity Commission calling him out again. Integrity Commission report. This one. Yeah.
Questioning the Integrity Commission investigative functions and if the body is impartial in its affairs, former Minister Robert Montague is back with more questions, and this time accusing it of misconduct. The minister unearthed several alleged biases while calling for an anti-corrupt agency. Kimberly Henry has this report.
Leveling accusations at the Integrity Commission, Member of Parliament Robert Montague again alluded to the Commission's special report on matters concerning the Firearm Licensing Authority, saying it is rigged with misconduct, bias, and malice. The report covered the period of 2012 to 2018, while Montague and the opposition's Peter Bunting served as National Security Minister. Contextualizing the report, one should note both ministers were accused of granting licenses to individuals with criminal antecedents. However, recently, the Integrity Commission reversed its conclusion about Bunting, an act which Montague questioned, adding the reports are inconsistent. Further to questioning the addendum last week, Montague says the then interim director of corruption, Dirk Harrison, wrote an email and letter to Bunting while investigations were ongoing.
Yet did not disclose this material fact in the report, and the Integrity Commission, in its review, did not include it in the addendum.
The allegations went further when Montague highlighted that Harrison also recommended a man with criminal convictions for a firearm license in 2010.
This said gentleman is one of the 8 persons under review in the special report. This report was investigated, compiled, and written by the learned gentleman and then Contractor General, Mr. Dirk Harrison.
Meanwhile, Montague questions the relationship between Bunting and the lead investigator, noting the email to withdraw such recommendations was not sent to the minister's official government email. He adds 3 other people were also copied on the email, but were never copied on the original one.
Was this strange action to cover something, or was it to right a perceived wrong or breach? Furthermore, madam, I do believe that at least one of the persons copied on that email still works at the Integrity Commission now, and in a very senior position.
Montague maintains he didn't act corruptly, adding there was no recommendation against him. He insists, however, there's a plan to destroy him and calls for a Jamaican anti-corruption agency.
But we need one that the teacher, the nurse, the police, the army officer, the civil servant, the permanent secretary, and every public servant has trust and confidence in.
Kimberly Henry for CVM Live.
Okay. All right. So let me just provide a backdrop of what really transpired here. Because at one point, the Integrity Commission, right, did also include Peter Bunting as it relates to that. But further investigation revealed that Peter Bunting, right, was not really guilty as it relates to certain allegations based on certain documentary proof provided after. So Montague, right, is not totally truthful, right? He wants to say that Bunting was involved. Yes, Bunting was a part of it, but further investigation excluded him. So let me give the people a backdrop of what happened. What really happened is that firearm license was approved by him, Montague, after the FLA investigated a number of persons and decided that they are not going to give these persons firearm. Montague go beyond that. Disregard the investigation. Disregard the investigation and give these men firearm. But it is also known that 1 or 2 of the person, right, I stand to be corrected as it relates to the numbers, that he had given the firearm, right, ex-prisoners. Ex-prisoner. So then, if you, Robert Montague, right, were making the decision based on the investigation, the investigator findings, and it is plain for you to see that this man was flagged and refused, as it relates to the investigator report, to say he must not get a firearm because X and X and X and X. This man has been charged for this, and this man was sent to prison. Then why? And Robert Montague, this is the problem. And you need to tell people that this is the problem. You have overlooked the report, even although the information was in clear sight, and you still had given the person that firearm. You must know where you collect. We don't know if you collect anything, me only I say. All right, me only I say. I don't know if you collect anything. Now, let us go and move on to a deeper investigation. People, I hope I am not giving information overloaded, because you have to understand the way how Mystic Sensation stay. You know? It burned me last night, sure me couldn't get to talk. So me I talk for last night and tonight. You understand what I say? Who want me to continue to talk? Want to say yes? Right?
If they granted guns to 4 people, so Arthur is endorsing what you're talking about.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Arthur. To also enlighten me on that as well. Right. So that is the truth about the situation with the Integrity Commission and Robert Montague. So don't act like you're innocent, right? And you're talking about political mileage as the same thing you talk about as it relates to, you understand, the rape allegation. So where you go with that? Okay, Freedom say yes, talk. Autumn Phillips say, chat mistake, me I go along, me I drive with gas. All right, we're not going away now to that Saturday. And me already when talk to, you understand, my authority said we need 2 hours. You understand? Because we never get to chat last night. So we need 2 hours to go and sharp enough to talk for last night and tonight. Now, people, we're going to go into another investigation that involves the Prime Minister. And we have the evidence. Because we don't know how David Booth said, chat. All right, Empress. We're going to chat. Now, watch this now. And as I say, I'm appealing to the 63% of persons to understand where I'm going, identifying these things. And you are going to decide as it relates to what we need and what's supposed to be on the ballot. Good governance. All right, straight up. Bunting acted on the advice of a statutory appointed committee, while Montague appointed his own committee to give him a recommendation. So you see, all right, and that's, thank you for that, straight up, right? I want one thing with my listeners who come to Mystic Sensation, right? I can say all of my listeners, sharp on the edge, sharp on the edge. Andy Braham, we are learning a lot from this program. Thank you, Andy. Leroy Mullins, I looking for you last night. I never see you. I'm saying, trust me. It begs me last night. It begs me. I got my bed and dream about it. Right, so I come with revenge tonight. So let us look now that the Jamaica cleaner carried something that is going to lead us back into SSL. And I want Jamaican people to listen to me, diaspora and local, that honest US dollars account asset increased by fivefold, even during a time with COVID, and where, I mean, every business across the globe seems to, right, and a down low projection. But I wonder which business that Mr. Holness would have been that his team increased up to fivefold. So people, let us go into it and read it. And we are going to expose some things tonight. Expose some things tonight, because we are now getting to understand one of the reasons as well is statutory declaration cannot be verified. And we're going to talk about things tonight. So let us get into that document.
Okay. Share again. Welcome to everyone, and thank you guys for tuning in and still being here. Really appreciate it. So, you want your song? This one?
Yes.
Okay.
Read it.
Okay. So, and this is 2020. The title is Wholeness US Dollar Assets Up Fivefold. Prime Minister Andrew Holness, United States dollar assets have grown nearly fivefold year on year. His latest statutory declaration has revealed. At the end of 2018, Holness had declared to the Integrity Commission that he and his family held US $28,272.11. But according to his latest declaration covering January 1, 2019 to December 31st, 2019, which was gazetted on November 27, and a copy of which the Sunday Gleaner has obtained, Holness had US $109,633.43. A US 94,000 held in securities accounted for the bulk of his US dominated assets. The Prime Minister reported to the Integrity Commission that he had US $13,537.43 in savings accounts and another US $2,076 in current accounts. The Prime Minister and his family had US $11,121 in foreign currency debt at the end of last year. According to his latest declaration, he had reported in his previous declaration that he had zero US denominated liabilities. Under the law, all parliamentarians are required to submit statutory declarations annually to the Integrity Commission, which is mandated to publish in the Jamaica Gazette the summary of the declarations of the Prime Minister and the Leader of the Opposition. The summary of the declaration made covering last year by the opposition leader at the time was Dr. Peter Phillips was gazetted earlier this year. According to Holness' summary, the Prime Minister owes $15.8 million in Jamaican dollars at the close of 2019, down from $22.1 million Jamaican dollars, which he declared to have been his liabilities in the previous declaration. According to the declaration, which was reviewed by the Integrity Commission at the end of last year, Holness owed approximately $1.32 million on a mortgage. Another $14.52 million was listed under the subheading Other Accounts Payable. In 2016, Holness disclosed that he received a $10 million home improvement loan from Scotiabank and had a Jamaican $3 million mortgage from Jamaica National, which was used to construct its Beverly Hills home in St. Andrew, which has market value of Jamaican $20 million according to the report. But if you never live in there, you can go get improvement loan.
Okay.
Anyway, let me come out to that. Holness had $4.39 million in savings account and Jamaican $3.9 million in current accounts. The report further revealed. Jamaican $11.78 million in securities. The Prime Minister declared to the Integrity Commission too that he had $11.78 million held in securities. That is approximately Jamaican $1 million more than the $10.6 million he previously declared under this same category. Holness reported $130.86 million to have been held in business investment, making for a total of $157.94 million in assets denominated in Jamaican dollars. His previous declaration showed the Prime Minister and his family had $161.25 million in assets. In February 2016, Holness released data showing he had assets which total $99 million and US $415,000 US dollars, mainly made up of the value of his newly constructed house, including the US $300,000 $1,000 cost of the property. The Holness family has also seen an increase in income by just over 2.5 million Jamaican dollars, moving from 15.6 million Jamaican dollars in their previous declaration to 18.09 million last year. The family is now earning 2.14 million Jamaican dollars per year for real estate. In 2016, when Holness became Prime Minister, he was receiving a basic salary of Jamaican 7.3 million. He was entitled to Jamaican 1.2 million in travel allowance, although he drives in a fully maintained Land Rover vehicle for official duties. The Sunday Cleaner could not verify whether he still collected the travel allowance. His wife, Juliet Holness, a member of Parliament of St. Andrew East Rural, is paid nearly $4 million per year.
All right. So take away that. All right, so people, let me just give you some background, right, to make better understanding for you. And I'm not even going to quote, right, the total as it relates to 2017 declaration, as it relates to the $161 million. Let us put that away and use a recent statutory declaration, right, as it relates to 2019. So I'm trying to know even mild with the Prime Minister. People, I want you to look at this. So then in 2019, right, that is not mentioned in that report. I have a different thing where I can show that. The Prime Minister, right, overall assets as it relates to both asset and expenditures, right, was a total of $195 million. Hold on. And I also beg Stan to be corrected, right? Because it is not more than that. It is more to be less, but I want you to listen to what I'm saying. Straight up. If while I was a civil servant, my filing could not be verified for 2 years running, I would have been suspended forthwith or transferred from my current position. Why no consequence for one? Okay, why you think I am showing the clear corruption with this? Now, people, I am going to expose something here as it relates to why the Integrity Commission just cannot verify Andrew Holness' statutory declaration. And he's talking about a bad mind or a grudge mind big house. You see, I have played 18 degrees north where we cannot justify that. You have seen I played 18 degrees north where we sued 18 degrees north and lost the case. And 18 degrees north still have the right to publish it. So let us start now. So let us give him $195 million as it relates to his last declaration. So somebody who have access to Google can quickly Google as it relates to his last declaration that identifies somewhere either 165 or 195. I am just being soft with the Prime Minister, so may I give the 195 million. So let us give him the 195 million. So then let us visit 2012. 2012, when the Prime Minister began to build his house at Beverly Hills. Right? Remember, the Prime Minister claimed that his asset is $195 million. The Prime Minister played down the cost of his house to about I think $95 million. Or could be less. But me say, me I go soft for the Prime Minister. Me I go very soft for it. So me could look, I could accept the $95 million. When say house value. Right? Now what these people bear in mind, people, listen what I'm saying. Prime Minister claims, say, okay, all right. There was an evaluation done on the Prime Minister's house that showed that the cost, the least, would have been 200 million Jamaican dollar. Already, you know, what he declared in 2019, the house alone surpassed that. Remember, so I said, me I got soft with him, you know. I mean, I gave him the $195 million. Now the evaluated the house during 2012, evaluated it for at least $200 million. Now watch this. In the same 2012, Papa Jesus, me go show no one news clip here now. I'm gonna read it. Me not say nothing. Me just go to the news clip. I'm gonna read it. Me not say a word. Remember now, you know, you what we are talking about? The Prime Minister saying house value $95 million in pay it down. The evaluator said it valued $200 million. Now in the same year, 2012, honey, play the piece of paper that the people are reading. You play the piece of paper, show the people in the piece of paper. And at the same 2012, let the people read it. People may not say nothing. We just have play. Yeah? Yeah. We just have play.
You just have show the play.
We just have show. People who know watch a pasa you now. People watch a pasa you. The Prime Minister said between him and his wife, they own $95 million. $95 million for the house. Between him and his wife, him owe 100. They have $195 million. Remember me said, I said that the evaluator evaluating house for at least $200 million. Him say $95 million for the house. But Papa Jesus, you know, look on this pasa here. Impossible to fix. Juliet only tell court her $800 million housing project doomed to fail if issues with access road not addressed. Now, developer Juliet Owens has told a court she's facing a failed $800 million housing project in St. Andrew if issues with an access road are not addressed in a high-stakes title dispute. I cannot complete the development, said the lawmaker, who pointed to an expert report on the value of what has been constructed between when? 2012. People, between when? 2012 and 2020 by JAJ Development Holdings Limited, a their own company that, you know, in which she is a director and a majority shareholder. Pasa. Scroll on, make the people see. JAJ is suing Charlene Ashley, the owner of lot 21A in Lee's Flat Red Hills, for the title of the land, a piece of which it bought in 2012 for $22 million. Payment includes giving Ashley one of the apartments from the complex J&J Push. Many of them bother read all right. Don't take on the document and now make it talk. Now, people, now for sure, them nothing have no sense. That them already reported to the Integrity Commission, right? So them total assets are $195 million. And she knows as a result of greed. It's as if she don't remember, say, the total asset that they reported to the Integrity Commission, compiled both of them, 195 million. So then we could give Andrew Holness now the benefit. If the house are $95 million, right? And as what you hear, she a quarrel and a squabble for overcoat. As it relates to what the house value right now is $800 million. You know? So then we could take off half of that, reduce it by 50%, and go back in 2012. So we give them, we try to save them and say 400 million. So the 400 million, but they reduce them, we are trying to help them. You know? But Andrew, I'm not trying to help you. I try different thing for you. I don't know if you are going. You understand? I try different thing for you. I go tell the people them say, in 2012, the project that cost 400 million. But Andrew, I don't know because the maths not add up. Because when I check the 400 million there, when I reduce it by, I mean add the $95 million, not 495 million. But maths still not add up. Because I say I 195 million between you and your wife. People want to tell me, what go on? People talk to me, what go on with this? Want to see why the Integrity Commission can't verify it? Want to talk to me, no people? Poor and dunce people who not understand this. Why the JP love low voter turnout? No, people, want to tell me now, Papa Jesus, how the Integrity Commission, right, is going to verify this man thing. Honestly, why now them are trying to burn down the Integrity Commission? Eh? People, look on that. Look at that mess. Look at that mess. We know that in 2012, as it relates to information that I had provided here, that as soon as Boyd put in his money, it as soon as it was taken out. And here we are today, right? That Gene and Panton came forward and said, look here, I'm not take the pressure any longer. Right? And the big man tell me, say what I say. And I know we haven't heard anything from that.
Silence is deafening.
So then, let us talk. Let us talk, people. So then what? The Prime Minister don't owe Jamaica no explanation. No explanation. What is going on in the country? Huh? That the Prime Minister is above the law. Right? His statutory declaration cannot be verified. And the list goes on with the corruption and with the corruption and corruption and corruption. And they are so brave, so bare-faced, that the wife, no business with anything because her husband is the Prime Minister. And I squabble now in a court. And I tell the court, say his apartment bound to fail. You understand? That value over $800 million.
That's clear conflict of interest because she should not
Clear conflict of interest
in any of those at all.
So just
as the Prime Minister.
So just look at that. So just look at that.
Arthur, so you mustn't trouble Zion.
Right? And then we know for trouble Zion. Well, Arthur, we just put out that. We not trouble Zion. Now leave Zion alone. Now leave Zion alone. All right. So where we are going now, people, look at the damage to our Jamaican people where this government claims he care for us. He care for us. Now when it comes to our beach land, want to see what going on? It's elites, it's friends. And who them want to sell it out to. And I am saying that the Jamaican people, right, who occupy this place for years. And one of the things that burn me very much and burn me bitter is the situation in St. Thomas. Where Colonel Charles, right, who has no business in St. Thomas, because that's not where he's from. He's from St. Anne's. But because of accessibility to certain documents, and he can look and say, okay, all right, these are lands that are not, registered and so forth and so forth. He used that that advantage. Go and claim the land. 15,000 acres. Right? Mash up the people and business. The wickedness of it all. Abraham Thomas, the Prime Minister, convinced all the Jamaican GLP members not to sign the integrity report to protect his back. So the clouds stay over all of them. And that is the primary reason, sir, Mr. Abraham, that they don't want to sign the code of conduct. That's what he means. Right? They don't want to sign the code of conduct. Because if they had signed the code of conduct, no, they could be penalized. And because he knows very well what he had done. And the bread. How comes him come by so much land? Just look on it. And so then see what's happening now. Recently with the judge have get big raise and they are fully satisfied. So then I am not saying that this is the result of what happened as it relates to the judge being awarded, getting the 200% raise. But this is interesting. And so let me play the document. Big up yourself, Michibu say real talk, 100%. All right. So let us play the document and see what is going on there. Updated Bob Marley Beach. So let us read it all and see the advantage that they have been taken of the Jamaican people. That this man now going to the electorate want the electorate to give him another run for him to put his shoes in the people's throat. Read it.
Okay, so it's dated July 18, 2023, and it's updated. Bob Marley Beach developers get construction go ahead. The caption is the Wolf Group developers of the US $200 million luxury resort in St. Thomas which has caused a rift with residents in St. Thomas over access to the Bob Marley Beach and ownership of a portion of lands on the beach, has gotten the green light to start construction. Norman Stevenson, of one of the families who are claiming ownership of 2.7 acres of land on the beach, had applied for an injunction to preserve the property and to stall the construction. However, Justice Maxine Jackson yesterday refused the injunction. The Stevenson family, who has sued the developers, has reportedly been operating and residing on the land for over 60 years and is claiming ownership of the land by adverse possession. Stevenson's attorney at law, Marcus Goff, told the Gleaner that the injunction was to prevent any demolition of any interference with the lands of the Stevenson family. The applicant, in the meanwhile, will return to court on July 26 for a summary judgment application. Stevenson is among residents of Bull Bay who have registered strong opposition to the development, which is adjacent to their Beach Road community. The Stevenson and another family are insisting that they have built their livelihoods on the state-owned Bob Marley Beach, which reportedly forms part of the scope of the project. They have said that they are facing the threat of eviction. The residents are also claiming that they are at risk of losing access to the beach as the adjoining lands for entry were sold to the developers. However, this aspect of the case has been fixed for another date. The residents and beach campaigners, the Jamaica Beach Birthright Environment Movement, are suing the Wolf Group and the Commission of Lands to protect their rights to maintain access to the popular beach. However, one of the directors of the Wolf Company, Donovan Reed, in a previous interview, dismissed the residents' claim as patently false. According to him, no threats of eviction and demolition were made. He said that an access point has been maintained to the beach on a 2020 master plan submitted to the government for the development that is expected to be completed in 2 years. Folks will have access to swim in a section of the beach. Fishermen will have their livelihood. There will be a school and refurbished housing. All of that was submitted to the government, he said. This is the first ultra-luxury brand development of its kind on the island, and importantly, the first in the English-speaking Caribbean. Jamaica should be privileged and is privileged to be chosen as a destination for this development, Reid said. He said the development will give significant credibility to the southern coast of the parish and attract other ultra-luxury brands with the multi-billion-dollar Southern Coastal Highway Improvement Project, opening up St. Thomas to investment.
Okay. All right, take that away. Okay. All right. So, my people, I am going to be measured as it relates to that situation. And so then I am going to utilize, much critical thinking skills in this situation. Because I don't want to be appears as if, okay, all right, I am bashing development, right, and progress, stopping progress. And so then we are going to think of all the factors. Straight up, I blame the people of Eastern St. Thomas because since Colonel lost, he has been hell-bent on getting one of his children into the seat, and they have allowed him to succeed. Straight up, put up what straight up said. Straight up, I just cannot fathom that. Honestly cannot fathom that. And I think that is so ludicrous. Right? But I am not going to comment any further on that. So, but let us talk about this as it relates to what being promised there, luxurious development and so forth and so forth. The possibility that being there, employment is going to be given and so forth and so forth, and all of that prettiness, right? That being pointed out. So I'm going to come and look at it, right, as it relates to utilize my critical skills. Now we know that based on, let us talk about Stephen, the Stephen family, who lived on the land for over 60 years. 60 years. And gaining, right, a lifestyle from that. Gaining a livelihood from that. They are Jamaicans. Let us, and the government, right, as it relates to me putting myself in the government shoes, right, and to show you that there was no level of empathy, there was no level of sympathy. Now remember, as it relates to the process, in terms of how you can, register land. One of the ways in which you can register land, that if you capture land, and per policy, that if you stay on the land and the brand, where are the paid tax history on the land? Very good, very, 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 very good question on the brand. But that is where I'm going. Now, for Mr. Stephen and his family, and other people who have been utilizing the land, what is obvious, over 60 years, 60 years, my Jamaican brothers and sisters occupy this, and per policy as it relates to the government, that if you occupy the land, said for 7 years, was it 7 years, I mean? About 7 years, right? And no one come and make a claim, right? You can go to the Commission of Land, right? Investigate, put in, your interests, and they will do the following in terms of guiding you as it relates to the process if the land has not being occupied. So then people tell me now, what is going to be done as it relates to the government? Looking on Stephen family and other persons who have occupied this 60 years. 60 years. Right? And this is what I'm saying in terms of the government, who now should have investigated that and said, okay, all right, maybe the people that made an error did not carry going through the process of going through to acquire the space and going through the registration process. Let us say that then. But a caring government is going to help them. Right? Because you have to consider that the people there, right, a generation gap as it relates to over 60 years, occupy that space. So what is going to happen now? Right? You sell out the land and then people come kick them off. We have seen other hotels on the Northwest and the North Coast work. They get the lands and they fence it. Denied Jamaican access to the land. So let us look into the Caribbean. Where in the Caribbean, as it relates to Barbados, Cayman, Bermuda, any other land in the Caribbean, where the citizenry denied access to their beach? Where? This wicked government, where? And in the name of so-called development, because that's want to make it look pretty, You understand? To victimize and wicked to the people, both development and luxurious and rare. Just like what Nigel Clark did as it relates to remove the levy from the backside to make them wealthy and rich, taking away our backside ore, and we get nothing from it. You understand what I'm saying? And so then you can see behind the curtains how much money them collect from them friend to sell them friend the land and deny our Jamaican brothers and sisters. And then you have the audacity to come ask them, right, to vote for you, to vote for St. Thomas people. Listen to me. I want to burn them out. And when I say burn, I mean physical fire. Let me say that. When I say burn, I mean vote them. Please, let me say that quickly. Right? So, Abraham Thompson, a Bustamante still have lands that nobody don't touch all now. Volume 1, follow 250. These land belong to the people. He never have no kids. And so then I cannot be on the side of the government, you understand, fabricating lies and talking about development. You understand, to sell out our Jamaican brothers. And as a matter of fact, let us touch the tourism. Majority of these people who are doing tourism in Jamaica, we are not saying that tourism is not good for the country. Mystic Sensation, there's a land grab going on in Jamaica by enough politicians as we speak. No, it will come to light soon. We know that. Big up for that. And so then, this is how you brutalize our Jamaican people, putting your foot in their neck. They cannot breathe because of you. And how dare you? How dare you? Right? The people then put an injunction to stop it. Right? And your judge friend who you buy out. You understand? Now look how long the people them live on it. Look how long the people. You did not find the time to look and say, look, let us research what the people are doing to help our Jamaican brothers. And that's why we talk about democratic socialism. Democratic socialism would have found the time, right? And see how the government can aid the small man to lift him up from micro to macro. But what I want to do? The small man a try, the little man a try. On step on him. You understand? Because you are government. And they are nothing. They are nobody. Just like what you are doing with the backside. Just like what you have done with our education system. You have unleashed your vampires. You have unleashed World Read who advise you in the Ministry of Education. Right? Who damage and cripple our education system. Right? And so then when we put you and your minions on that ship, we're sending you to the abyss. Sending you to your abyss. You have no care for Jamaican people. You think donkey can help you? Eh? You think donkey can help you? Eh? Are you going to give every farmer's donkey? Hmm? You think donkey can help you? You could have given him 10,000 more donkey. Can't help you. We know the wickedness, what you have done, what you are still doing, and what you will be doing if you are allowed to continue. And so then we are making our point of duty, this particular platform, to stop it. Democratic socialism must move forward in rising up our people. Right? What we want to convert the poor man. You understand? Wealth equity. Not for the few and the elites that manipulating the poor to get their way, lining their pockets, selling out our prime lands, putting us back, using and giving us some little what do you call it, trader homes, because that is what we deserve, trader homes. Eh? That is what we deserve, right? So I'm saying to this government, and I'm saying to St. Thomas people, we want the energy in St. Thomas to spread, to permeate throughout the entire Jamaica, from Negril Point to Moran Point, to show this government and give this government a lesson. We are not only want to put you out of power. We want to try you for the atrocities that you have done to the Jamaican people. And if found guilty, we put you in the appropriate place that you need to be put, you and your cabinet. Right? And so then you're trying to do everything to hush, to muzzle the Integrity Commission. Don't speak out. Don't speak out on our corruption. Passing laws 70 years that even if they leave office, they cannot be speaking on it. 70 years. What sort of thing is that? What are you hiding? But Judgment Day is coming. Time of reckoning is coming. And I'm telling the Jamaican people that the power is in your finger. And the blessing day is coming. Redemption is coming. And so then, as we speak here, we have another 2 years for deliverance. So 2 years, my people, left for deliverance. We will have a new pilot that transcends us from poverty to wealth. And any members, let me warn, because we know for positive sure, Mark Gold will lead us to that victory. And if there is any, let me warn, the political time of yesteryear as it relates to the dinosaurs, councillors in their constituencies who think that they can do kickback, who think that they are entering politics because of what politics can do for them, and they can hustle as a result of projects. I am warning you people, whether you're PNP or GLP, I am warning you that social media is here. Gone are those days when you never have checks and balance. But the time has changed. And there's a new horizon. And so then, we don't have to wait on mainstream media to give us or disseminate that information to us, particularly when they're censored. Social media is not censored. Social media is changing the paradigm, shifting the political landscape, and forming a new way forward. Checks and balance, accountability, and good governance will project and lead us in the future. Democratic socialism is on the rise. You will never be able to stop us. We are coming at you as it relates to checks and balance and accountability. And even when the People's National Party win, we will be having our eyes on any politician, whether GLP or PNP. From once you corrupt, you shall be exposed. You shall be highlighted. And the consequence shall stand. We, the people, will now give the new government our mandate to move forward with an impeachment bill that will put in law that we don't have to wait an election to get you out when we find that you are corrupted. We are going to utilize the process of impeachment, the vision of Mark Goli, to get you out. And so then we are saying for the politicians who think that politics is the yesteryear, we are getting rid of every dinosaurs, big head and small brains out of our politics. We heard one of the 3 blind mice is saying, "We can't tell you, we can't even speak properly." And this is the person who representing us. Like, seriously, we don't want, right? We don't want a person. And the truth be told, let me say this, is as it relates to standard and professionalism, right? No one should bother enter the politics if you cannot pass a simple CXC. Please don't go there. Please don't go there.
Want qualified people.
We need qualified people in our politics. Yes, people who can harbor the critical thinking skills. Right? This is what we want. For a politician who claim that he's representing us in the House of Parliament, don't have subject, can't pass a simple CXC subject, then how is he going to do critical thinking in navigating us through in difficult times when you can't pass a simple CXC subject? Sickening. I believe, although the Constitution is saying from your 18 and you have no criminal record, you can enter, but I believe that people who are representing us must be qualified. Must be qualified. Qualified with common sense too, of course. That's what we are talking about. We need representation. We need representation. And so then I like what Mark Golding is doing. So the 3 blind mice, right? We are happy for the decision that you have made. So then we are going to move on as it relates to that. St. Thomas people, hold tight. You understand? Power the engine, because we are going to make an example out of this Prime Minister. I want to know, how is he going to campaign in St. Thomas after all what St. Thomas people have been through? But we feel the energy from St. Thomas, and that very same energy in St. Thomas must permeated straight through the island from Negril Point to Morale Point. Right? And we are defending that. We have time for one tonight. You understand me now? I'm gonna have time for one tonight. Right? And this platform will be here taking us into election. So don't believe. You understand? We're not going to stop. We are flying this plane and we are going to land it safely. Curry goats vote. Yeah, man. We are going to deal with it. And beer, GLP party are set of dunceheads. Well, Dwight.
Right, sure.
So we are going to step on the gas now. So we finish the Bob Marley thing and we take them a cruise down. You understand, as it relates to Pernal Charles. But look, the next thing that I want to touch, right, is a situation that really defines Jamaica Labour Party. The next topic that I'm going into clearly defines the Jamaican Labour Party. So Desmond Mackenzie, don't believe that you have the opportunity to come in front of the class. Whether they are mystic sensation, at back of the class, yeah. As a matter of fact, I'm standing out of the class.
Out of class, look through the window.
Come out of the class. I'm going to stand up under the other tree. Because you may talk to know next. Now, people, it's a shame and disgrace as it relates to this government. But one thing I find so difficult to understand is that these people have no conscience. I would be ashamed to say me a champion for people to put them back in power. I think that Desmond Mackenzie, trust me, to deal with justice, resign and go on, man. Resign and go on, man. This will shall put you upon the thumbnail. Here's the reason why I put you upon the back. You understand me? Here's the reason why you're upon the back, man. So let me go into and show the world that this man who wants the electorate to continue with him the next year or the next 2 years that they decided to do election, general election, whether 2024 or 2025. Whenever they're ready, we're ready, you know. And the longer them stay, and more pressure is going to apply. So then let us look on Desmond Mackenzie, who is seeking, right? Andy Brown, Nigel Clark is a big educated fool. Come with his charts and toys, like him take this thing for joke. Jamaican people life is on the line. So true, Andy.
Wake up.
So true. You understand? I try to use him algorithm for thief. No, see. Algorithm.
It's algorithm.
No.
You can't add up the math scam, but so.
You understand me? Now, so when you look now, this is a man now who really want people. Like, seriously. A man who disregard our Jamaican people. A man who has no care for our Jamaican people. Our locals who are hustling their money on a day-to-day basis. You, Mackenzie, decided, right, that they must do it line with switch. And they have been suffering for more than 3 months. Our brothers and sisters selling and doing their little hustling have to face all of that insanitary thing. And you, Desmond Mackenzie, doesn't see it as an emergency. Nobody in the cabinet no see it as emergency. The Prime Minister has not seen this as emergency. And when you need to focus on that, you're gonna boy give a donkey. No, people, let me show you the mess before we discuss that. And this defines the government. That really what we have dealing with us is a sewage government. We have a sewage government who is leading our political affairs. Let me show you why. This government is a sewage government. Play the clip.
One pair arm seat, 1,000. One pair arm seat, 1,000.
Sewage. More sewage. Sure. People selling at this one.
Come check out the girls that I see lady. Jeans pants are from $1,000 over here, lady. Come look, jeans pants are from $1,000. Big sale out over here, lady. But you would have been like lady. Show them up, lady. Lady could have had like we still on the side. Come over here to come find a jeans.
You looking water. God bless me, make him look nice. You water, listen. Every time you this inside. Me alone looking inside here. Too much water. You shop. Inside my shop. Water. Me alone looking. Lick, long time with you for long. Understand? Me earning cutting. This time we are cutting. Water inside no good. Sewage. Yeah. No good. You Jamaica, this is no good. You will get water.
My shot clear. That's the diesel panel.
Emancipate the sailor. 6 bills and 7 bills to emancipate. 6 bills and 7 bills to emancipate. Emancipate the sailor. 2 bills and 8 bills. 7 bills and 8 bills to emancipate. 5 black man, 100. 5 blue man, 100. 6 man, 100. 600 to Abasha Palama. 600 to Abasha Palama. 600 to Abasha Palama.
The Jamaican people. So, electorate of Jamaica is this government you want to continue? This is the government that you want to continue with our political affairs. What I have shown there is a continuance of something that has been going on for more than 3 months. Raw sewage for more than three months. This is an emergency situation in the middle of a commercial activity. We could partially say the commercial center in the middle. Like seriously, Mackenzie, the Minister of Local Government, members of Parliament, your constituency. So then, a situation like this, right, that requires emergency, that is raw sewage, right? That are sort of bacteria, all sort of health issues. And you allow this thing to continue for more than 3 months. For more than 3 months. Not even in Haiti. And I use Haiti for comparison as it relates to what is going on in Haiti. You have not seen something like this. And I am comparing one of the worst places that's distant. You have not seen something like this. But in Jamaica, yeah? Let's read back what JD said here.
Like
Look like Haiti. Are we sure that this is Jamaica? JD, I am shocked. And this government is talking about campaigning. You shouldn't use the word campaign not your mouth. All of should have resigned. All of should have resigned. And you honest, you are going to tell me that you have not seen this? Something that continued over 3 months in the middle of a commercial activity. And I want to know that people are going to see this and thinking about the vote for JLP, Jamaica Labour Party. Are you serious? Let us be serious. The situation that exists there, right, is the old asbestos pipe that used to use, that have been damaged. And you are going to tell me that, okay, all right, a situation like this that requires emergency doesn't need to go through the procurement process. A government who is caring for the people and think about the people health-wise and otherwise. And know that, okay, this is an era where the people are making their livelihood. But who cares? This government, do they care? Do they care to consider all those factors, to consider the health risk, to consider that many people using that area for a livelihood? Abraham Thompson said, Mr. Siaga walk over it and campaign over it for 42 years. And Tivoli was strong for him. My goodness. Jamaican people, we need to wake up. We need to wake up. 3 months. And as we speak, it has not been fixed. As we speak. Right? And people are selling food. People are selling this. People are selling that. Right in the center of the sewage. My God, man. My God. And yet, we are so heavily taxed, so why are we paying the tax? This is what we get for the tax money. Desmond Mackenzie, come. This is what we get for the tax money. When the dust and germs affect the people, until they tell lies on COVID. Just look at that daily. It is sickening to see that. So I want to know, Desmond, what are you going to say to these people when you're ready for your campaign? For them to vote for you. What are you going to say to them? Yeah?
Campaign on fixing it.
The people have already experienced 3 months ongoing. And it has not been addressed. A dire need of emergency. A dire need of emergency. But this is what the government, right? Simply, this is what defines the Jamaica Labour Party government. It's officially a sewage government. Don't care for its people. And I'm not surprised as it relates to this, because any government that attacks education, that pilfered from the education ministry to suffer our youths to get a better life, that see the need to take 200% increase and only give the teachers who are facing the classroom 20% because of that them deserve. And you line your pocket with 200% increase. So you don't care about our education. You don't care about our health. Our health system has been damaged under this government. So many patients in the hospital and can't even get any bed. People are building blocks to Leon. Right? Certain machines that is necessary for the survival of life. Help me with some of those machines because you're a nurse. CT scan.
Ventilators.
Ventilators.
MRI machines.
MRI machines.
Problems. Instruments for surgery.
Right? Instrument for surgery.
Monitor for certain conditions.
Monitors for certain conditions.
A lot of things are lacking.
Right? All of these things are lacking.
Common bed sheet. Common bed.
So let's look at that. Look at that. This government shouldn't even care about the next election. All of them should just resign and leave. But the monster they are, right? They want to fight with everything. And the reason for fighting is not to fight for our future. The reason why they're fighting is to secure their corruption. For their corruptions not to be investigated. But we are taking note and we'll be giving the new incumbent government our mandate, which, of course, we know that you are not investigating SSL. And we'll be asking the new government to do that. All right. Ricky Live 365 is like there's no government at all. Right? Who cares for the people? Right? Where is our political representation? Right? No form of representation. So many areas, 2023, you have places in Jamaica don't have hot water. Think of that, people. Don't have good road infrastructures. No potted water, no good road infrastructures. Just think Think of it, people. 2023, where this government had gotten many grants, right? Many benefits to aid with COVID. Where are those monies? Where are the money gone? No accountability. And Ibrahim, I want someone to tell me at least one department in government that is running good. To be honest, see if someone can answer hand there. It's a shame and disgrace. Shame and disgrace. Right? All of what Andrew Holness promised as it relates to his first 100 days, not one thing being delivered. Right? He promised that we'll be sleeping with our door opens. Can we do it? Can we do it? We have seen our crime being escalating under Andrew Holness government. When People's National Party in power, the crime has not passed 1,200. But we are facing crime. Right? We are facing statistics running over 1,300, 1,400, and you name it. You see what I'm saying? This is what this government give you. Right? Has no plan for crime. And all he's using now is SOE. See there? Him lose action lawsuit. Wish the government to pay X amount of money. A taxpayer go and pay that thing. Let me talk to you. More inflation added in. You understand? Using SOE for the wrong reasons. Just look at that. Has no plan, no crime plan. The only plan what them have is thievery. Is thievery and suppress our Jamaican people. They are doing fine with that plan. If you ask me if they execute that plan, they executed that plan very well. High inflation hitting us. Crime rate gone sky high. And you name it. People in downtown Kingston selling in raw sewage. And you name it. All the atrocities you can think of, we face it under this government. All the atrocities that you can think of, we have been facing it under this government. And so then, my last plea here tonight, I am pleading to the 63% of persons who did not vote to understand that we are at a juncture as it relates to what is so critical to us, that we need to rescue our nation. Our nation is facing peril of the hands of the Andrew Holness-led government. It's no joke. All the evidence that I've provided here tonight are from mainstream source. Andy Brown, Andrew Holness and his minions take this far fashion show. They don't care about the people. All they do is dress up for camera, photo up, prime minister. Right? We have no prime minister. Just look at that. And so then I am appealing for persons who have not registered. Yes, register. Go out. Because we must change this government. We have to discontinue with this government. We have to seek better for our life. We have to think about our people. This government has no care for our people. The evidence is quite apparent. And so then, we are saying we are moving Helen Richards, them being thieving since 1980s, just now it's more in the open because of social media. Thank you for that, Helen. And so then we are here in social media as it relates to checks and balance. New way forward for all political parties. We will be reflecting as it relates to calling them out, as it relates to accountability. So what is on the ballot is good governance. We want our nation to build our nation. We have seen that this government has no care in reducing our backside levy, giving our backside to the wealthy, to the rich, and making us poorer and leaving us with all sorts of ailments. We have seen so many times and repeatedly fish killed in the Rare Cobra. We have witnessed that. So then I'm telling and I'm asking my people to give us a chance. Give us a chance by voting Mark Golden, by put the People's National Party in power. And we here in social media will shine that big spotlight on that government when they are in power. But we have to put hands and heart and everything on the deck to get rid of this government. And so tonight, I think I have reached my full tour of duty. I'm looking forward again for next week, Friday. For Jeopardy people, we're sorry, we do apologize that we couldn't bring forward Jeopardy because of the criticalness that we want to push forward as it relates to building, nation building, and pleading to the electorate to be prudent. Don't caught up into the flair and the trickery. Don't caught up in Cliff Hughes' lies. Don't caught up in GLP spin machine, because they will be coming out. They will be paying.
Do not sell your votes, people.
They will be paying for votes. They have done it previously, and they are looking forward to do it again. Right? Andy Bryan said, thank you, Mystic Sensation. Jamaica Carlos sent me over here about 2 months ago, and I have learned so much. Enough love and respect. Blessed Andy. Really appreciate. And yes, big up Jamaican Carlos. People, Jamaican Carlos burned the fire hard. So please support Jamaican Carlos. Run over there. Support him. Right? JD, I think this election is one of the most important elections in the history of Jamaica. No doubt, JD. It is. We are fighting this time for our lives. We are fighting for our sovereignty. So I'm appealing to the voters. I'm appealing to the voters. I am begging the voters. Right? To push out. Do what you can do. Register. Arm and ready
Can't get out.
to make the decision.
To
The power is in the finger.
Get out.
And that's why we are saying that, yes, we have seen the elites, but the elites are in few. We have seen the PSOJ agents who are backing the government because of political kickbacks, but they are in few. And we're not going to make, regardless of the money that they have to advertise. We know what they have done and what they are doing and what they will be doing if the electorate make that mistake in putting them in power to continue. So we are aiming to discontinue the viciousness that been happening to the Jamaican people. The exploitation of what is happening to the Jamaican people. This Jamaican Labour Party government, they are naturally exploiters. Naturally exploiters. Michelin Dahl, real talk, bless up Michelin. And so then, I'll be finishing tonight in saying, to the electorate, be prudent. Think about your children. And so then when you vote, as I said, and continue saying, and will always say, that your vote should not be a selfish one. But when you vote, it should transcend beyond your generation. We will be building our nation black by black. And we want all Jamaicans to come together and make the right decision. I am saying, once again, my people, thank you so much for passing through. Last night I couldn't get to speak, and I was so worried because I didn't say what I wanted to say. So every Friday, Mystic Sensation is here, investigating for my people, doing the research, highlighting what needs to be highlighted, building the awareness, disseminate the information, because we will be here. We will be here, right? Navigating for success. So once again, let me leave it out there. For us, and a leader, that when we look on the leader, we have found that the leader is honest, clear of all wrongdoings. Mark Golan has not mixed up in any pasa. His private, when he was in the private affairs, he had run his business successfully. Mark Golan is one of the politicians, right, who had drafted many bills and played many of them in laws. Skillful politician. And not only being skillful, but clean. That is the order of the day. A man who leads a mission of honesty.
Can follow his example.
A man who, when he made a promise, he delivered. A man who we found. And if all of us that need to use our conscience, Andrew Holness cannot stand in the shoes of Mark Golan. And that is the plain truth. And for people who are looking on Mark Golan's skin complexion, that is racist. What we need to look on, his ability, the capacity, and the character of the man. And so then, we need to move forward with a leader that we find as worthy as Mark Golden. So we need to give him all the strength, the honor, and the blessings to go on and take us to a place that we are well in need of success, wealth equity, a government who respects the common man, a government who will not leave its people 3 months in raw sewage water. Andrew Holness is on the mission promising $40 billion road project because now election coming around. And so then we need to tell him that, look, you and your $40 billion road project that you are promising, we know you had promised several things before, and not one come true. So whatever plan you have with the $40 billion road project, please utilize it when you're out of power. I am not even going to go through that details. But whatever plan you have for your $40 billion road project, you can use it when you're out of power. All right? So people, be prepared for Andrew Holness promise more than the $40 billion road project. But let me leave it tonight and give you the awareness of his promise. Right? And so let me play that final clip and show you what he's promised, what he's promising when he cannot, and where he has not fixed that downtown Kingston commercial area that is flowing with sewage. See the final clip what the Prime Minister is promising, the $40 billion road project. Read it on here.
Okay, $40 billion road project to start development. St. Catherine and Clarendon said to receive the most funds for the rehabilitation of roads under the government shared prosperity through accelerated improvement or road network, which it's dubbed SPARK. The $40 million road improvement project is aimed at modernizing more than 2,000 roads island-wide. The roads will entail improving road surfaces and intersections along targeted urban corridors, installing localized drainage, improving road safety through the construction of retaining walls and installation of guardrails, and installing pedestrian facilities at selected locations. Some of the roads to be rehabilitated in the corporate area include Mountain View Avenue, Old Hoop Road, Malines Road, Waltham Park Road, and Constant Spring to Stony Hill. In St. Catherine, the corridors that have been selected include Caymanas to Twickenham Park, Spanish Town to Angels, and Tamarind to Nagahead, just to name a few. In St. Thomas, the government plans to rehabilitate the road from Moran Crossing to Whitehall, Erie Mount to Hampton Court, and Port Moran to Bath. Among the roads in Manchester, they listed those. According to the GIS, the corridors were selected based on factors such as traffic volume, the condition of the road, safety factors such as reducing accidents or increasing emergency response times, cost, ease of implementation, and social impact such as increased access to service or decreased social cohesion.
Take away that. All right. So people, let me just run my final critique through that. Now, the $40 billion road project that he claimed, that is a 23-24 program for the plan. For that to be done, 23-24. Now, 2023, we already know at the end of the second quarter. And no road not started. Nothing not started. Remember 23-24 plan. Right? And we are in the end of the second quarter, 2023. And nothing has started. So people, we're not going to cut up into this again. Whatever plan you have, when we vote him out, tell him to utilize them. After we vote him out of office, he can utilize all of them plans. All right? So, my people, that is where I am going to end the program tonight. And I want to say a big thanks to you all for passing through. A big thanks for, oh, okay, that road in Nagohead was to be done from 2016. Look at that. Just look at that. Now, so I am saying big thanks to all persons who are supporting us, persons who are subscribing to the channel. We really appreciate that. Right? Continue to, follow us, right, and support us because we need the strength. And, we want to say a big thanks for the support. So, of course, love you all. And we're looking for you again next Friday to pass through. And for Jeopardy, we will be doing that next Friday. Joshua Taylor, I remember those good old days. Democratic socialism for the people. By the people, power to the people. Bless up Joshua Taylor. Democratic socialism is the way to go. Once again, my ardent listeners, thank you for passing through. And I hope you have a wonderful weekend.
Okay, guys, so I will not add anything else to that. I am just going to say, stay blessed. Have a wonderful and blessed rest of the weekend. Stay safe and safe travel on the gravel. Until next week, Friday. Peace. Take care. Love you all. Thank you all for being here. Really appreciate each and every one.
Thank you.